determined to succeed, as fixed on a prize, nothing can stop her. She's all out, inspired every eye, and never will give up until at the top the world is an oyster. Sedulous woman, the new girl boss. Sedulous woman, the new girl boss, impacting our world. That's the way it goes. See you at the top where we all belong. Oh, I'm sedulous. Oh, I'm sedulous. Oh, I'm sedulous. Sedulous, sedulous woman, the new girl boss. Sedulous woman, the new girl boss, impacting our world. That's the way it goes. See you at the top where we all belong.
A man would apply for a job if he felt 60% competent. A woman, on the other hand, would wait till we feel 100% qualified for the role before we applied. I was raised in a culture to believe that women were to be seen before they are heard. This unconscious bias is not just something that impacts women leaders, but it impacts all of us. Let's address the ways in which you can ask for what you deserve. To move forward as leaders, we must learn to drop the dishes, stir the waters, and shake things up. My name is Ehi Ade-Mabo. I am a mindset surgeon and an advocate for women.
Our guest speaker, Ehi Ade-Mabo, serves as a mindset surgeon, coach, author, speaker, course creator, and women's advocate. She started off as a life coach when she had no idea that the world of coaching existed. She noticed that she loved to help people shift their perspective and focus, and whenever she would give people recommendations, they would get their desired jobs, leave toxic relationships, get out of their comfort zones, set healthy boundaries, and smash their goals. When these events started happening more frequently, she decided to take it more seriously. This was over 10 years ago. Now, she focuses on helping female leaders and high-performance visionaries create a clear system and path to multiple 6- and 7-figure income businesses, be impactful, and ascend into new levels of income and impact. She believes that we cannot talk about results and outcome without first changing our beliefs and paradigms. Ladies, sit tight as we welcome Ehi Ade-Mabo.
We're actually very pleased to have you on here today to talk about this topic on entrepreneurial burnout. We know you as a mindset surgeon, a coach, and an author, and we want to learn how we can actually avoid this entrepreneurial burnout. Let's all take some time to welcome Ehi Ade-Mabo as she comes up to talk about entrepreneurial burnout. Thank you.
Hi, hello.
Hi,
hello.
welcome.
Thank you. Hello to everybody. Good evening from Abuja, Nigeria. I'm so excited to be here. Honestly, I've never seen this played out before. Like, I've spoken at a ton of events. I've never really attended a well-organized conference like this where it feels so real and it feels so good. So I do want to give it back to the organizers. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jibola. Thank you, Taiwo. Thank you to all the CT leaders and the regional leaders. You guys are doing such an amazing job. And as some of us have spoken during the breakout, collaboration is needed. We need to come together, join forces, partner up with each other, stop seeing each other as competitors, but start seeing each other as really partners, because that's what we are as women. So I do want to say thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. And I'm so excited to be here. So I don't know how much time I've got, but I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship burnout because that's what I was invited to talk about. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you see me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So let me just give you 2 seconds of, warning that because I am in Abuja, Nigeria right now, any moment from now, the light could go up. And if it does go up, I've instructed them to turn on the gen, but I do have to say this things just in case it goes up and everyone's like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Yeah, so just a little bit of background about myself. I have been an entrepreneur now for about 11 years. I actually started started my own business when I was in school. I went to McMaster more than, I graduated, I want to say 10 years ago, something like that. But I've been a full-time entrepreneur now for about 5 years. Since I had my son, I've not gone back to the typical 9 to 5 as we know it. I'm a coach. I help female entrepreneurs and visionaries, as you heard in the intro, really ascend to new levels of income and impact, and really just people who have a fire in their belly and you just don't know how to get there. This is what I do. How did I even get in here? About 12 years ago, I started a business as a publisher of a lifestyle magazine. It was my very first stab in business. I really needed it to work because it was one of those things where it's like I doubted myself a lot. Are you supposed to be doing this now? Is this why they sent you to school? I mean, I was an international student, so if anything was to go south, there was going to be a whole lot of consequences, including not being able to get my visa and then my permanent residence, right? But there was just this fire that was just there. When you have a fire in your belly and it's just like, it cannot go away. You lay down to sleep and it just keeps coming. Every single moment in the waking day, every time you go out, and all you see is, oh my goodness, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. So it wasn't even so much that I set out to being an entrepreneur. It just wouldn't just let me go. And so I felt this pressure to do something with the creativity and with the passion, with the energy that I had. And the only one thing that came to mind at the time was to tell people's stories, tell the stories of successful Africans in the GTA community at the time, right? But at the same time, I really felt like I had a lot to prove to myself and maybe everyone around me. So as a student, I took a trip every other day from Hamilton to Toronto, looking for sponsors, looking for content, looking for printers, looking for all sorts of resources for this business because it had to work. Have you ever been on something before where you knew that it had to work? If it did not work, like there was no plan B's, there was no plan C's, there was no, oh my goodness, if it does not work, I'll do this and I'll do. It had to work. And that was the mindset that I had. Like, what do I have to do to make this thing work? I would do anything to make this thing work. Well, to cut the very long story short, to actually bring it to an end right now, it was a success at the time when I launched it with my partner. We sold a ton of magazines. We inspired a whole lot of people. We told a whole lot of stories. We were very successful, at least based on my definition back then. But you want to know what happened? I was tired. I was seriously tired. I felt like I'd sacrificed way too much to make this thing happen. Remember, the background was I needed this thing to work so I could prove to myself, but more importantly, I could prove to other people that I was not wasting my time. I was in third year college. If it didn't work, it almost felt like the slap on my face, right? So I'd sacrificed all this, all these relationships, lost relationships with close friends, lost relationships with people, sacrificed my health, sacrificed my grades, sacrificed experiences that I should have been having, or just sacrifice a whole lot to make this thing work. Did it work? Yes, it did. Was that the first and the last edition we created? Yes, it was. Unfortunately, it was. Which brings me to the topic of today's wonderful conference. As entrepreneurs, as professionals, as people that God has given a vision to, a dream to, a fire to, sometimes you're like, oh my goodness, I got to do this, I got to do that. This person is watching, that person is watching. If it doesn't happen, they're going to think this of me, they're going to think that of me. And you do all these different things. At the end of the day, you are tired, you are exhausted, you are drained, you are uninspired. Literally, I woke up the next month, which was when we're supposed to do the second edition. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I didn't know where to start from. I was not motivated to do anything. I was not interested. I was not inspired. First off, I'd spent a whole lot of money that I did not have. I'd done all these different things that I just felt like, could I have done this better? Absolutely. So I could talk about so many of those topics under the planet, but today I want us for the next 30 minutes to just think about that dream and that vision that God is giving you. If you woke up tomorrow losing your health, and I'm not going to talk too much about mental health. I'm not even going to talk at all about mental health, because I know that there's another speaker going to be talking about that. Nika is going to talk about mental health. But if you woke up tomorrow and you had no physical health, you had no support, you had nothing, you had no fire on the inside because you had spent every single thing that you had pursuing this dream, do you think that this dream will move on? Do you think that this job, this position of leadership, this passion that God is giving, this gift, this business, this thing that you're pursuing, do you think that it will keep going if there was no you? So I want us to really think about that question, because these are the things that we don't really think about. People say, oh, get into business. And nowadays it's becoming very, very cool to be an entrepreneur. But nobody tells you that in the process of being a business owner, there is no destination. It's an ongoing process. It's a journey. There is no, we don't really ever get to a point where we're like, okay, we've arrived, we've done what I need to do. Now let me just go chill. Let me go relax. Let me just go sit back and, put my feet up. You never really get there. Once you get, it's like the goalpost just keeps getting shifted. Once you get to your goal, you want something else. You want something bigger. You want to impact more people. Right. And this is why it's important for us to talk about burnout. It's important for us to have these conversations, because nobody really ever talks about burnout. It's such a crucial topic that doesn't really get the attention that it deserves. Right. We love to talk about inspiration. We love to talk about stories. We love to talk about the possibility of being a multi-millionaire and the possibility of impacting millions of people. But nobody tells you what to do when you wake up in the morning with no energy to do the thing that you once were so excited about doing. Right. So let's just define what burnout is. So just so we're all on the same page. In my opinion, and I define burnout as really just not being as productive as you should be, and the stress that comes upon you from overworking, when we think burnout, some of us think it just is physical, or you just go rest, or just go take a vacation and come back. Have you ever been so tired that you took tons of vacations, you called timeouts, you slept in, and you still woke up tired? Have you ever woken up tired? Like you're rolling out of bed and you're like, oh Lord, I can't do it today. I'm tired. That's a symptom of burnout. It's not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental. It's an exhaustion that comes from your soul, where you don't feel excited about anything anymore. You feel the burnout because, and oftentimes we feel a burnout because we feel a deficiency. We feel like we're not enough. We feel like our best is not good enough. So I want to talk about some symptoms of burnout. So when you recognize it, you know it. I almost want you to hear my voice in your head when you experience the symptoms, so you can say, now is the time to check it. Because if I don't check it, not only is everything going on, and it's like, is this never going to happen? I've been on it for so long. I've been looking for this I just don't think that it's not enough. Self-doubt. When you stop doubting yourself, continuously and really just more than usual, you really have to understand that you in the beginning stages of a burnout, or just lack of motivation, you're just not lost your joy. Nothing moves you anymore. It doesn't matter what anyone tells you. It doesn't even matter what's going on. You're just like you're just lukewarm. Number 3, a symptom of burnout is you're cynical. It doesn't matter what opportunity is presented to you, you look for a reason why it will not work out, why it's not going to work out, why it's not working out. You question everything. You question everything. Number 4, you have a decreased sense of accomplishment. That means that everyone could be like, oh my goodness, good job, Taiwo, good job, Jibola, oh my goodness, look at what you did. And you're like, I don't know, I don't think so. And number 5, finally, you're mentally exhausted. You're mentally checked out. You're done. You're done. So if you experience any one of these symptoms, I want to invite you to really just start to do the work, do the inner work and go, what's going on here? How did I get here? And really just tracing your steps, because you might be experiencing a burnout without even knowing it. What are some of the most common causes of burnout? Obviously, working way too much, putting in way too many hours. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Why do we do these things as women? Why do we feel like, there's this checkbox? I need to post on Instagram three times a day. I need to do a story. I need to do a post. And then I need to do, I need to do a video. I need to do a graphic. You know how, they give us this list. I need to do a video. I need to do a graphic. I need to do an action post. I need to tell a story. I need to do testimonials. Oh my goodness, I have not done this. I have not posted. I have not done a live video. And you go through all these things. You go through the motion, and you see the things that you're even doing is not even having the effect that you want anymore, because you are just checking off a list. When you're checking off a list, you are not present. You're not as present as you should be. You are not engaged. You're not as engaging as you should be. And quite frankly, mentally, you're checked out. So energetically, of course, I believe that 80% of the results that we get or don't get is energetics. It's in the mindset. So, but it takes a whole lot of work to be charged on the inside. It takes a whole lot of work to connect to your results. It takes a whole lot of work to go through your beliefs and go through your blocks. It takes a whole lot of energy. When you're experiencing a burnout, you do not have the energy to notice your blocks. You do not have the energy to know what your limiting beliefs are. You do not have the energy to connect spiritually, mentally with the end goal, with the results that you are seeking. So what happens is you end up going through the motions, but you do not get the results. And then you come back and go, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? This is what they said I should do. It's a problem. It's a vicious circle, because you're just on a hamster wheel. You're on a hamster wheel. So of course, working too much, not having enough time for socializing or relax. You feel guilty. How many times we get a glass of champagne, watching, being on Netflix at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, especially now during the lockdown, and you're like, is this what your mates are doing? Is this how you're going to get to the home? We say all these things to ourselves, but sometimes, many times, we're working at 11 p.m. You're sending out an email. You're thinking about your business. You're strategizing at 1 a.m. and you never give yourself a pat on the back, because this is what I should be doing. This is what I'm meant to be doing. So causes of burnout: working too much, working too long, and not having enough time to just socialize, relax. Number 2, not having the supportive relationships. Oh my goodness, I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. Some of us have been oriented to think you walk alone, you go alone. And there's that African proverb that I really love that talks about, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone, go together. If you want to break a broom, break it as a single broom. If you want to be a formidable force, go in groups, go in bunches, because it's hard. It's hard if I partner up with someone like Ejibala, with the days that I'm tired, I'm experiencing a burnout, or the days that I just don't feel up to it. I know that she can cover for me. But what have we been told as women? To compete with each other, to look out for each other's flaws. Right now, as I'm speaking, someone's rolling their eyes and going, is this what she's going to talk about? Blah, blah, blah. This is subconscious. You don't even know that you are doing it. And so a lot of us don't have those close, those supportive relationships. Or even when you do have the supportive relationships, somehow you find a way to sabotage it, because, realize that, in order for you to go to the places that you really want to go, you have to form partnerships. You have to go with someone. You have to find like-minded people. And when disagreements occur, when something happens that it's not supposed to happen, it doesn't mean that you go, oh, women, we can't work together. No, you fix it. You fix it like you would if you were with your children, right? So I was talking about how do we avoid the burnout as mothers, as wives, as entrepreneurs, as professionals, as women who are wearing so many hats? How do you get to the point where you don't even have to deal with the consequences because you know it and you stop it right in its tracks as it's coming, right? We talked about delegating at the beginning. I think I did talk about a little bit about delegating. So as we go through some of these points I'm talking about, I want you to really just start to think, why don't I do these things? And really get into the mindset behind why you don't do it. Because as you know, we don't do certain things that are right for us, not because we don't know that they're right for us, but because there are other underlying fears, right? So why don't you delegate in your business, in your job, as a mom? Even think about the lowest level of delegation, even as a child. When a child wants a toy, they usually go, okay, mom, maybe this sibling is not giving me a toy. And then they go look for something to make that thing happen that may not necessarily be about them. Like they look for an external force to help them get that toy, either by manipulation or by knocking mom and dad's heads together or by doing something. Why don't we do this as entrepreneurs? Why don't we do this as professionals? Why don't we do this as visionaries, as women visionaries who want to impact the world like we say we want to impact the world? Why do we have these fears? There's certain underlying fears. If I delegate, I'm going to be completely redundant. If I delegate, I'm going to be useless. If I delegate, people are going to think they can do without me. If I delegate, then it's not going to be all about me anymore. If I delegate, the spotlight's going to be taken away from me. These are the things that we want to deal with. Because if you don't deal with the issue, the reason why you're not delegating right now, you would never allow yourself get to the point where you need to delegate. Okay, so I'm going to go real quick because I know we don't have a whole lot of time. So the way that you avoid the burnouts in the first place is to delegate and leverage other people's strengths, leverage other people's skills, leverage other people's expertise, leverage other people's leverage what other people have, and it's okay to do that. Whereas women, we have a whole lot of fears. We have a whole lot of fears doing these things because we think, again, it's the whole competition mindset versus collaboration, right? Number 2. Focus on your area of brilliance. Focus on your area of brilliance. I had to learn this the hard way. I'm a coach. This is what I love to do. I'm a talker. I love to talk. When I started to design graphics, my graphics started to look like an amateur. When I attempted to build my website, it was a mess because I wanted to save money, because I wanted to be cheap, because I wanted to, to do it all. Stay with your area of brilliance. I know we talk about how, oh my goodness, I may not have the money or I may not be able to do that. Listen, if you're losing way more money by not doing that. Okay, so as an entrepreneur, as a professional, focus on your area of brilliance and do only that, and you'd be amazed at how good you get at the things that you're already good at. Because we're trained to fix our weaknesses, focus on what's not, what we're not doing right, and fix. Why are you fixing your weaknesses when you can hone your strengths and delegate your weakness? Honestly, this was a game changer for me in my business. The minute I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I could just go on Fiverr. I can go on Upwork. I could do all. I may not have the money to hire a full-time staff, but that's why I can hire a contractor. Number 3, know that you are enough and honor where you are in your journey right now. So Nikki already talked about this. I'm not going to hammer this one. You're good. You're exactly where you need to be. I cannot tell you how many people are killing themselves every single day comparing their chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 22. Honey, you were not there when it started the business. You were not there when they went through the divorce, when they went through the separation, when they went through their journey. You heard Rumi's story. You were not there when she went through her trials. Why are you in chapter 1 trying to make your life look like chapter 22? Because someone else is showing you their chapter 22. These are the ways in which you burn out. Number 4, plan ahead. Plan ahead as an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or a professional. So I'm speaking to female visionaries. You start the week. The week does not start you. You start the week. That means that by Monday, you know what you're already gonna do you already knew what you're gonna do by Sunday. You're planning your days and your weeks in advance, so nothing comes up. And that's not to say that things will not come up. If you're a mom, you know that sometimes it's just impossible, regardless of how much planning you do, for things to not come up. But imagine if you're already going, this is what I got to do on Monday, Tuesday, when, like, you would avoid so much burnout because you're not overwhelmed. You're not making sporadic, spontaneous decisions. Number 5, set boundaries. Oh my God. I could talk again. Boundaries is something that I've had to learn. It does not come natural to me. When you're the president of the People Pleasing Association, boundaries is something you have to learn. Not just setting boundaries in business, but setting boundaries in personal relationships. So I could talk a whole lot about that, but for now, for the purpose of avoiding burnouts, I would say create some do's and don'ts. I don't do this. Regardless, I don't do it. Or I do this. You know, when I started coaching, it was when someone comes to me and says, oh my gosh, I need to talk to you. I'm like an ATM machine. I drop everything I'm doing. It doesn't matter what, if I'm making lunch or dinner for my son, I'm like, okay, you can call me right now. I want to talk. I want to help you. I want to fix it, right? That's what we do. We're fixers. And I started to see how tired I was. I started to see how unmotivated. I started to get to the point where it was just, I was not excited about my business anymore. I was not excited about life anymore because I was like a machine, just going. Now I say to everyone around me, if you know me, you're close to me, I do not coach on Sundays, period. Doesn't matter if the sky is falling down, I don't do it. I'm not going to go on a discovery call. I am not going to do it because whatever money you were going to pay me, if you said that it was Sunday that you're going to pay me and you were going to take it away by Monday, then maybe we're never really supposed to work together. If I did not have this kind of rules or boundaries in my business, I would have been done by now. You cannot go on for so long. This is a long-term thing, ladies. This is not something we do just because, I want to start a business, or I want to get ahead. And then you have an exit strategy. If we agree that this is a long-term strategy, this is a long-term situation, then you will take care of yourself first. Because how can you fill from an empty bottle? How can you give me when you don't even have? This is what we're doing in business. This is what a lot of us are doing at work. This is what a lot of us are doing as mothers. We want to pour. We want to show up on social media and be, oh my God, I was active. I posted, I did this, I did. That's great. But you're giving from an empty cup. And this is why your words lack impact. You are not as productive as you should be because you have not taken the time to fill up. You cannot give what you don't have. So number 6 will be set relaxation time. Be deliberate, be intentional about this. Relaxation time is not something that happens when you are done with your work. That's not what happens. Oh, okay, I'm done now. Let me just pull up my feet, Netflix, and chill. Relaxation time is something that happens because you put it in your schedule. The reason you put it in your schedule is because you need the energy to operate, to function, to make the big bucks. To impact people, to increase your profit. So if you understand that relaxation is not something that happens when you're done with, taking care of the kids, taking care of the husband, taking care of the business, taking care of the job, taking care of everybody else, then you would schedule movie dates. You will schedule Netflix. You would schedule time to check in with yourself. And this is not necessarily something that we cannot afford. This is something that we can all afford because we're doing it during the day. We're breaking up our days, and some practical things that you can do, which is what I do right now. I break up my days to say, okay, between 9 and 12, I get to do XYZ task. At 12:30, journal. Between maybe 1 and 4, I get to do da. At 3:30, check-in. Check-in could be a prayer. Check-in could be maybe just playing a worship song. Check-in could be a meditation, journaling, something. Have a cup of tea. Break up your day. If you don't, and we have this thing about if we don't do it, then it doesn't get done. Well, that's just your mindset. And because that's your mindset, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy and it has to happen that way. If you program yourself to say, if I don't do it, it still gets done, then that's what would happen in your business and in your role as a mom. Because now you have higher expectations of the people who are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. You don't feel like Superwoman anymore who needs to be in all the scenes at the same time. Number 7, play. Play. Yes, I said it. Play. Want to make more money? Play. Want to be more effective? Play. Want to be a better mom to your children? Play. Want to be a better wife? Want to have a better relationship? Play. Set time to play. Be deliberate about doing the things that really bring out your childlike tendencies. Dance. Listen to music. Do the things that put you at ease. Because when you're at ease, you make better decisions. I promise you, I've been doing this for a long time. You make more money when you play. People don't realize it. Sometimes we're so serious. I want to do this. I want to do that. Oh, I have these deadlines. Oh, I have this and I have that. Yes, madam, busy. Take time to relax and play. All the things that you're hustling about will come to you. Why? Because your frequency is up. Your joy meter has gone up. Your anxiety has come down. And then, as you know, we're always attracting to us people, things, experiences that match our frequency. So if you're not taking time to play, then you're in this serious mode. You're always in this problem solving mode, or you're always in this problem, not even problem solving, really all the time. It's really more worrying mode, problematic mode. Then you're attracting more issues to solve, because God is like, okay, so you want to solve problems? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. More problems for you to keep you occupied, since you're now a designated problem solver. Which number 8 will be, stop trying to do all the things. Stop trying to do all the things. Stop overcompensating. Find out the reason why you're overcompensating. Find out the reason why you're feeling inadequate, so you want to do all the things to feel important. Number 9 will be, create systems and structures, payments, contracts, email lists. Okay, so this will cost you money. This will cost you money if you don't do it properly. If you don't have any systems, and you always have to keep being manual about your process, you always have to keep, things are just slow. They're just manual because you don't have systems. And so you're constantly working in your business, or working on your business and not working in your business. There's a difference. And of course, number 10 will be sleeping, eating healthy, exercising. No one's saying to have 6 packs necessarily, but take a walk. Spend 30 minutes by yourself, just listening to music, listening to an audiobook. Like Nika said, everybody has a different version of what self-care means, but take the time to find out what it means to you and honor that. Honor that, whatever that looks like to you. Make sure you are honoring it. And for some of us, it's not necessarily a spa or a massage or a walk. For some of us, it's like, I don't know, maybe go fix your nails or something, fix your hair, something that makes you happy. Okay, so those are my 10 I think best tips to avoid the burnouts. And of course, the mindset is huge. As y'all know, mindset is huge. Like, don't take pride in grinding and hustling. Nobody's gonna give you a crown for spending the 16-hour days working. No, it's not coming. I'm telling you. Let me be the first one to tell you, a crown is not coming. We've glamorized the hard work. I gotta work hard. I gotta hustle. There are people who are working smart. There are people who are working way less hours than you, who are getting way more done. Figure out, how can I get way more done by working less, so I can do the things that bring me utmost enjoyment? Maybe spending time with your kids, maybe spending time with your spouse, maybe going on vacations, maybe doing the things that, I don't know, make you really, really relaxed. And I know what you're saying. Oh, well, I'm really passionate about what I do, and that makes me relax. If that's what makes you relax, great. But when you start to sense a burnout, honey, calm down and really trace your steps to go. Acknowledge the burnout. Acknowledge the things you're not where they used to be. Acknowledge you're not as joyful as you used to be. And then really start to take some of these measures to restore some normalcy. But before I leave, I just want to give us some quick journaling prompts, just so we can have something practical to start thinking about, to start writing about. So I don't know that I necessarily, or maybe I should just read it out, or maybe I'll copy it in the chat. But some of the things I want us to journal about, really to start figuring out where we are right now in terms of our burnouts, would be, I want you to ask yourself, what am I running away from? You see, one of the big issues during the COVID-19 was not necessarily COVID itself. It was the other issues that came around relating to COVID. Oh my gosh, I cannot stand my husband. I cannot believe that we've been married, because he's always out, I'm always out. So this is the first time that we have to be in the same space for such long periods, and we're not going nowhere. So what are you running away from? What are you running away from confronting? Why do you like being busy? Practice being still. Practice being still. Number 2, how can things be easier in my life? How can things be easier in my business? How can things be easier on my job? How can things be, again, these are such subconscious things. We're taught that we need to work hard. We need to be the hardest working person in the room. We need to grind. No. These are some programs that we need to uninstall. Seriously, the most successful people are not necessarily the hardest working people. Think about it. Even Beyonce, who works hard, she has systems. She works smart. I don't know if you heard about the story of Beyonce buying, was it Uber shares? I don't know if it was Uber. I think it was Uber, one of these companies. they had offered to pay her during the, oh gosh, what is it called? I don't know what tour it was. And then they made a comparison about the singer who got paid maybe $100 and something thousand. And Beyonce's like, no, I want shares. That's a way of working smart. So ask yourself, how can things be easier for me right now? Number 3, what can you do to leverage on building collaborations and relationships? If I know Ejiola has a system that works for her with Made by Africans, and I want to start something similar, what glory is it going to give me to start from scratch? What honor is it going to bring to me to start hustling from scratch so I can say self-made? What's that? What's that about? Leverage on building collaborations and relationships and partnerships. And sometimes we're not very, we're notorious for not doing this properly, because sometimes people go, oh my gosh, this person wanted to compete versus collaborate. But that's something that it's an easy fix just by switching your mindset. Number 4, what systems can you create now? What systems can you create now? Think affiliate programs, think referral systems. So you're not always working so hard. So you're not always on the bit. So you're not an ATM machine. Someone puts in a card and you're supposed to automatically just bring out results right away. No. What systems can you create now to make sure that systems are working for you, your money is working for you, your time is working for you, things are working for you without you necessarily being there? Number 5, what new habits can you create now? What new habits can you create? Can you introduce in your lifestyle right now? Maybe meditation, maybe stillness, maybe yoga, maybe journaling, maybe praying in the middle of your day. What new habits can you create right now to be still, to reduce your anxiety levels and to prevent a burnout? Number 6, can you pick a day in the month where you can plug off social media, like Nikki said? Can you pick one day in the month where you can say, you know what, Instagram, I love you, but I'm done for today? Can you pick a day in the month where you don't go on social media, where there's not a lot of noise around you and you're just sitting still in the quietness and stillness of your heart? Because a lot of things that we're looking for out there resides on the inside, but we haven't taken time to really listen. We haven't taken time to ask the questions. We haven't taken time because we're taught to talk, pray. Yeah, just yap, not listen. Because many of the prayer points that you're praying, by now you would have heard if you knew that communication and prayer was a 2-directional thing and not one way, boom, 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 let's bombast God. Number 7, what can I do right now to make my business work without me? What can I do right now to work smarter? What can I do right now to make my business work without me? If I was to go on a vacation, will money still come in? Will things still work without me? Number 9, what activities can I imbibe right now to play more? Okay, he talked about playing. Great. I used to play the piano when I was little. I haven't done that in a while because I don't have time, right? How can I create time to get in touch with me again? Number 9, what new boundaries can I create now to achieve more work-life balance? What new boundaries? I told you, for me was I don't work on Sundays, and I don't. There's certain things that I don't do in my business anymore that I used to do, just to create those boundaries. And certain things I didn't used to do in personal relationships that I now do. I have to do now. Number 10, what is it costing you to not be still and focus? What is it costing you right now to be all over the place? What is it costing you right now to have this burnout, to have this apathy, to have this lack of enthusiasm, to have this this dream that's burning up in your heart, but still you haven't been able to gather to muster the energy to do it? What is it costing you? A lot of us were taught about opportunity costs in high school. And it's like, what's the opportunity cost right now for me to not be at my maximum? What's the opportunity cost? How much money am I leaving on the table? How much impact? How much growth am I leaving on the table because I have refused to hold my feet to the fire? What is it costing you right now to not be still? What is it costing you? I'm not talking monetary cost necessarily. Well, that's inclusive. But how much peace is it costing you? How much joy is it costing you? How much impact? How much growth? How much expansion is it costing you right now to not be still? How much? And then make the necessary amends. I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for having me. Thank you to the other speakers, Wumi and Nike. Your talks were amazing, inspiring, and powerful. Thank you to everyone for having me here. And I apologize for the internet situation earlier on.